Hi everyone, and welcome to another cozy review as we review an arc. This book comes out April 1st, and it's not a joke. So I just finished this today. Sorry, buddy boys, settling down. We also have a new microphone situation, so we're testing that out with this video. So I read The Notorious Virtues by Alwyn Hamilton. This is my first time reading anything by this author, and I really liked this. It took me a second to get into it because it was giving inheritance games, and if you know me, you know that I didn't really care for inheritance games. I'm not a billionaire type person of a reader. I don't really like those stories. I have too many issues with billionaires in the real world that even fictional ones I can't handle. This one was interesting because it had really good character growth. So I started out hating one of the main characters like a lot, and by the end really liked her. So we have 4 POVs in this story. We have Nora, or Honora is her real name, and this is a world based in magic where her ancestor stumbled upon this ancient creature in the woods and made a deal with it so that he wouldn't cut it down because he was a woodcutter. And in exchange for not cutting that tree down, that fey creature offered protection as long as he had like this axe, right? And so anywhere he cut was safe. And so he like made this whole city essentially by cutting down circle after circle after circle of space for people to come and get protection. But in return for protection from the evils of the outside world, they would have to give something. So we also have these people who are the writers or the ridders. I'm not sure how you're supposed to say the name because it's Rydder. And I'm like, it could be Ritter, but it could be Ryder, depending. I don't know. With the 2Ds, I lean towards Ritter, but it looks fancier when you say rider because they are knights. And so they are sworn forever to protect the Holtzfall family. And Nora is an heiress apparent because there are these trials every time there is a new heir that needs to be taking place. So one heir passes on or gives up the title, they will have these Veritas trials, and they are magical trials that will test things like your patience and your honesty and your cleverness and things like that. And you never know when they're going to happen, but they happen, right? So we have Nora, whose mother is the current heir, and her mother is unalived. And now there's a big mystery about who done it, why it happened. I will say I knew pretty early on who was likely the main culprit, and I was correct. That's not a problem with this because Alwyn Hamilton sets this up very well to make you kind of second guess yourself. Even if you are right in the end, the journey to there is really interesting and cool. So I really like that. So Nora is kind of a spoiled princess, but she's very smart because she is the only Holtzfall that doesn't really look like a Holtzfall because her father was POC, and from these desert lands and stuff. So she's darker skinned, she's darker hair, and Holtzfalls are usually very blonde and, porcelain-like kind of doll figures. But she's very, very smart. Her whole father's side of the family is tech geniuses and stuff. And then mom's side of the family is the rich people who own everything. So she's had a privileged life. Then we have Theo, who is a knight, and his older brother, Alaric, was the knight to her mom. And so he's missing. Like, he's thought to be dead. There was a blood trail. Looks like he was dumped in a river, but they can't find his body kind of situation. So they're both suffering with that grief. But Nora is like, I'm going to find out who done did this. And this triggers the Veritas trial. So she has a couple cousins who are also eligible for this trial. And they all have kind of always competed. We have Modesty. We have Patience. No, Patience is her aunt. Is one of the aunts. We have Modesty, Clemency, and Constance. That's the other two. And Modesty is kind of the biggest rival. She's a movie star. And this is very, set in early Hollywood style of the time period. Kind of like that 20s, 30s-ish style of... that's what I got out of it, was that era. And So we have Theo, who is a knight, and all the knights have to obey their oaths. That's one of the biggest thing in the world for them, is they have this this oath. So if they are given a command by a Holtzfall, and especially by the heir, they have to obey it, whatever. And that's going to come into play a lot. Our other two POVs, we have August, who I really liked. He was very much... he's a journalist, so he was giving a lot of Newsies vibe. And he is also like, he's the one who kind of figures out, or Nora contacts him, and they kind of band together to realize that, hey, the person they're saying that they caught that says that he unalived Verity, her mom, that's a lie. It's a lie, and they're going to find it out together, and so they team up. All the while, there is a mysterious fifth heiress who has been locked away in a convent, brutally tortured, pretty much, like abused, I would say. And her name is Lottie, and Lottie has no idea that she's a Holtzfall, but she has a curse or a gift, and she can read minds. And she uses that to her advantage quite a lot. But she is brought into the fold, finding out that who her mom is one of the former heiresses who was thought to have never have had kids. Lo and behold, she has this daughter. No one knows her parentage, though, or her father. And that also leads into... So we have a lot of these little kind of convoluted plots, all the while these very dangerous trials where people can die in them are happening. And there's a secret rebellion going on. Not even a secret rebellion. There's a full-on rebellion happening with this mysterious figurehead who has like a wolf masks, so you don't know who he is. And there's so much intricate plots. There was a lot of really good twists and turns that had me very much engrossed in this book. So I really, really like this. It does leave on a cliffhanger, though. Cliffhanger. Oh. So, and I don't know when we're going to get this one, because I remember hearing about this book years ago, and we finally have it now. I don't know when that second one's coming out, but it does look like it's going to be a full trilogy, and I'm very excited to read this one. I'm very invested. It is YA, but it reads... I mean, I'm like, I didn't even really realize that it's YA, because it's like, it just feels like a really good fantasy mystery novel. So if you like mystery aspects in your fantasy, you're gonna like this one. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My only complaint? Cliffhanger. Goddamn cliffhanger. But we have really good character arcs. Everyone gets really good character arcs. There is minimal romance. I will say there's a little teensy-weensy bit of it, but it's pretty minimal to the main story. The people are very focused on the other things, and it was just like, there was one brief respite. There's really one kiss scene in the entire thing. So if romance is not your thing, know that there is minimal amount in this, as of the first book at least. So yeah, that's The Notorious Virtues. I can't wait for the sequel, and I'm going to go now. Bye. Hopefully this microphone worked really well.